been?
Been all right.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
Uh,
All right, I see. Ah, the negotiator.
No. Stop it.
Yes.
the only negotiator I deal with is the Priceline negotiator, aka William Shatner.
Okay. So are you ready, Eden?
I'm streaming.
Okay, great.
Hello, world.
When last we left off, as I hope everyone remembers, Liam and Abigail were with the Ivory Dragon gaining info on the Primordial. A very expansive amount of tomes sat before them both. Fitz had just escaped an accidental problem when reading a book called For Interdimensional Travel in a restricted area of the library. Having escaped narrowly with James, strangely enough.
Yes.
And Rune had talked with the Brass and Bronze Dragons. Two imprisoned dragons atop their spires that, long ago at least, used to run part of this nation, and now prisoners in their own home. As we ended last session, Rune had a brief moment talking directly with the Adamantine Dragon, essentially saying that he would stop him and make him pay for what had happened. The Adamantine Dragon saying simply, "You can certainly try."
I'ma slap a bitch.
Welcome back, everybody. To quote Brandon Lee Mulligan, say hi, intrepid heroes.
Hi, intrepid heroes.
Gonna kick your ass.
Now
Fucking
back to
do
reality.
Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity.
Cutting into our time from into where we were last time, I will cut over to Liam and Abigail once more.
All right, so wait, we have in fact been told that there once were powers that sealed the primordial away. Yeah.
Essentially, yes. Yes. Though the methods of actually sealing him away is not entirely known. It's just known that the creator, the first of the many primordial gods, that they died in the process.
Would there be any way at all possible or even feasible to recreate some kind of power to seal him back up? I know you say it was the creator or whatever, but there must be some way.
You actually see her considering for a bit, of just like thinking about the many possibilities here, of just like, you could try the primordial flame, but I wouldn't think it would be a good idea. You would certainly try a lot of possibilities in regards to such things. You could attempt to use essentially other primordial items, I suppose. It's the closest thing to him that we have, really.
Liam's thinking for a second. Is there any way we could harness his own power against him?
What, like a lightning rod running back at him?
I suppose, yeah.
Maybe? She, like, a true look of uncertainty, honestly. She has never really fought something like this. She's never even fought another dragon. Historically, the Ivory Dragon kind of steps in with intellectual struggles and problems, striking down cults and whatnot. This is far outside of her realm.
You guys are good. You guys around here are good at building stuff, yeah? Surely some sort of thing you could make to capture immense power wouldn't be outside of your wheelhouse, yeah?
Perhaps not, but the question is if that would actually do anything. If he's a god of any sort, is his power infinite? I wouldn't think infinite is possible. More what I mean is it beyond what we can craft in something in such a short time? It is certainly an option, though. As more stacks of books. Like, maybe shot yourself in the foot with that line of questioning as, like, 2 big-ass piles of books about containing great power.
I don't see how I shot myself in the foot. That's another option.
It is, but what I mean is now you've got another couple hundred books.
Yeah, well, this is going on. I am just, like, gathering a handful of books that I feel like I'd be more to the point than what we need. Like, things...
Roll an
And, like,
intelligence check.
Do we?
Intelligence? Oh, fuck. Come on.
Yeah, we're gonna see if
Fucking
you
me.
guesstimate which ones are right, or if you can suss out which ones are like the best here.
Wait,
Fuck
Abby.
me.
I just had an idea.
What?
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 Is there some way we can get all these books right here, kind of compress them down, and give them to Ship James?
Actually, though, I like your idea. However,
You see, the ivory dragon, just this look of true fear for a moment. Please don't condense my books. They are not juice to be condensed.
I do apologize. How about
I mean, if there's...
if we could maybe find a way to get Liam up here. If we can get him out of
You mean James?
James out.
Get Liam up here.
James, sorry, I'm
Giant ape.
Yes, get Giant Ape to read books. Educate them.
Yeah, genius idea there.
No, okay, yeah. we
Book
can
too
get
complex. Ape
James
smash.
up here.
Or maybe... Or maybe I've... What was the dragon's name again? This is me asking up game.
Luanessa.
Luanessa, can I call you Louie or Louie?
Lua.
Is there any kind of magic you can do to kind of finagle all this knowledge into one, like, super book?
There's just a long moment of like a silent squint at you.
No, I don't mean physically take all the books. I mean take all the information out of it. Just magically copy all the information out of them into one, like, super book.
Like a bibble.
There's a long bit of just like thinking for. I'll say roll me a persuasion, but this is more to help her figure out if there is something she could do.
Can I
Where the hell am I?
can I help in any way with this?
I mean, you can give me the help action.
I'll say you being there is enough moral support to give him the help action.
All right, this is a persuasion roll. I'm quite good at persuasion.
Famous last words.
16.
Flash of I use a flash of genius. +4 to that.
So that's a dirty 20 on both sides.
Dirty 16! Nat 10!
This is actually probably one of the moments where flash of genius is actually intended for.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I need to figure this out, and I kill a pointer instead of
Liam,
pulling
with a
strike.
20. With a 20, you meant like just kind of asking her that question alone, I'll say, is your persuasion check. And as she sort of thinks about it, she does come up with an idea. While she doesn't really say anything, you just watch as she goes from sort of just sat there looking through the books one by one with you guys to quickly moving around her library. Arms reaching out here and there, a few magical, like, massive mage hands. Moving around and grabbing things. You see a bunch of blank journals brought over in a huge pile near the books. And quickly you both feel Arcana shifting between the books in front of you and these empty journals. As essentially she's just making a bunch of copies.
Also, we don't talk about the gun tracking. Watch the video, it will make sense.
And as they're being made, you see a mage hand bring a
God.
crystal, like a proper large
I'll be right back.
crystal,
Sorry, guys.
perfectly shined,
I like how
With-
I've
encased in like a brass lantern almost.
I like how I've essentially asked for a USB.
And what she's giving you is a 30-pound lantern, full of magically full of books. As you watch the end of this crystal light up, and just light shine over these copies one by one, then being siphoned in, turned into essentially magical data.
Oh. Oh.
If a normal person like tried to use this, their brain would melt with all the info.
That's why we're giving it to the computer man.
People like the whole idea of people being like, oh, in the future you can immediately learn a skill with a USB. Your brain will melt. That said, quickly these like copies are siphoned in one by one into this lantern, and soon enough you have this powerfully glowing, albeit incredibly fragile,
I'm back.
arcane object.
Oh no.
Because essentially this is something made to be kept with like a scholar, and you guys are planning on trekking it through a homeland full of dragons. This is meant to stay in a library and move between like schoolrooms. It's like this fragile crystal orb with a single long piece leading up into this lantern-like enclosure. The actual handle itself feels like if you moved it too fast, the whole thing would fall apart. It is beautiful, but it is absolutely not an adventuring item.
Would we,
Uh-huh.
I don't mean to overstep any bounds, but would we get like a case for this?
What?
Like a case to put it in, like the soft stuff, from breaking it. It's really fragile.
Just be careful with it. What are you planning to do? Throw it around?
Well, no,
No,
I'm
but
just
we
saying.
have to go back down the mountain.
Right.
You just this look on her face of just like, maybe I should have locked the doors.
I do apologize, but
She says nothing, just like that look on someone's face of like, was this worth it? She looks around thinking for a bit before, what?
I was going to ask, do you have some way to, I guess, warp us here to a possible location?
Well, I feel like that's maybe asking a little much there.
She looks around the library thinking for a bit, and she's like, we used to have a teleportation circle.
Oh.
But the village it led to doesn't exist anymore.
Oh.
1 second, my dog is being a fucking dumb.
Whoa.
She's just sad that that village doesn't exist anymore.
Oh.
No, they had the best as bones.
Yeah, they had bones. They had a
Not the
bed. And,
village.
they had a bed and breakfast. They had,
They had bones.
yeah, especially the bones. Yeah,
Bones for
they were
days.
specifically known for bones.
God.
They were the
you know,
harvester
you
of
know,
bones.
You know, it was the first place that the Dragon's Gullet franchised out to back in the old days.
She essentially she said she like thinks on it for a bit. I mean, the circle's probably still there, but you're going to end up probably in the woodlands somewhere or other. It's not up here, but it's I don't know if it's a very safe place to find yourself.
Is there like a sky ship thing we can take down?
She looks back to her wings and then back to you. She's like,
Well, I meant like public transport.
1 moment. You watch as one of her mage hands whizzes out of the room and quickly drags back one of her servants. The elven,
Yeah.
the elven woman who let you guys in, who looks truly terrified. They're wearing like riding goggles, like they were about to fucking dip. Mistress, the giant dragon is still at large. Just shut up. Just shut up. Oh my god. Two things. Firstly, you're absolutely fired after this incident is settled. Secondly, wherever you were about to go, take these two down with you. Well, I was planning on fleeing the country. No, you're going to go down. You're going to land your ship somewhere safe. And then you are going to come back and then get fired. Okay?
Preferably by the dog.
It's as they begin to stutter, they're drugged back out by the mage hand.
Toodles.
Does that suffice?
Yes.
Yeah.
You are. Thank you, kind.
Liam, by the by.
Yeah.
You're more attuned arcanely. You feel some kind of arcana, sort of like it's linked with you, but it is not like currently on you. Essentially, like it's something, almost like something's using your magic. Roll me an arcana check.
Alright. This I will do. Arcana. Why? 20!
Ooh.
Not a nat 20, but
Dirty 20.
nat 20, yeah.
You feel, like, you feel your shadow behind, like, you can feel your shadow, which is already abnormal. But it's moving on its own accord. Abigail, Luanessa, I mean, neither of them have really been looking behind you. They've been kind of focused on the books, but in this moment, Liam, you're acutely aware that something is using your shadow. For what, you're not immediately aware. Do you look back to see?
Yes.
You see a long stretch of darkness going between the bookshelves. And you see one of the many books, this one wrapped in like old leather.
I would like to turn in such a way that my shadow is no longer in that direction.
Your shadow's moving without
Shit.
without, like, the light is where, like, not even pointing in the direction where your shadow is currently going.
Hey, great dragon lady, something's messing with my shadows. It's stealing one of your books.
Then, as she, goes to look, you see it touch the book, and you watch it whip up into you.
Like my shadow?
Yeah, your shadow. You watch it touch this book, and you watch as your shadow, just in a long stretch, zips back into you almost.
How's it
The
going,
book
Welcome in.
disappearing.
Hope you're doing well.
Shit.
Fucking.
In your mind,
Twitch is so
you
being fucking over
can
the
feel
chat. I don't get it.
pain.
But hi. Yes, hi. Welcome in. How you doing?
Ow.
Welcome in.
What?
We just started a little bit ago. Yeah.
I'd like to kind of
Let
look
me bump that
inward
up a bit
real
more.
quick.
You see
And,
Lucky wounded.
Hey, what the fuck? Hey, Lucky, what the hell happened?
No immediate answer.
God.
They they are writhing with pain. Lucky's made out of magic.
Alright.
Seems like something took a bit of your magic.
God damn it.
Bitch, that should
You
have sounded.
didn't
What the
notice
fuck?
it, and you've actually gained a bit of information.
Excuse me?
Liam.
I didn't hear that. What?
Whatever was just done
Why did it not?
was a
Oh, that's
very
some horse
old
shit. Hold on a
spell.
damn minute.
Something forbidden, something that would have absolutely been just pulled from public knowledge. It is dark magic, at the very least.
Did Luna see any of that?
Oh yeah, she you mentioned it. She just sort of watched, attempted to dispel magic, immediately counterspelled.
Wow. But
On the cellar.
what was that book?
I don't know, and I'm going to need to get my catalog.
'Cause I didn't fucking hear that. Also,
If you
I
want
have
to-
new. I got new sound alerts also, that you can check out
She
in the
sort of
bits.
stands, looks around, kind of frightened.
If they work, that is.
The shit y'all have been dealing with is something like very different from what she's been dealing with. Like both bad things, but this is kind of weird.
I'm not
You
hearing that for
see
whatever
her,
reason. Why is that?
Go between the bookshelves, looking through some things.
Oh, hold on. Maybe.
and
Maybe.
pull
hold
back
on,
a
wait minute.
box of like cards, like library cards.
Here, maybe.
Flipping through them,
Here, let me try something here.
she finds the correct like area for it. It is in the W's.
What the hell?
Pulls
Okay.
a
The sound
card.
alerts are just gonna be not working, I
That
guess.
is
Because
the
I can't hear them.
Tome of False Desires. The Wishing
That's
Tome.
weird. That should be working.
Uh-oh.
Okay, what now?
Yeah, see, these were working a little bit ago, and it really sucks.
Wishing Tome.
What's that for? I get the bit about the wishing, but
One of a kind book. Essentially, dark magic grants wishes. Not, well, it tries to. It tries to sate the user's desires. Powerful in the right hands, in the wrong ones. Deadly.
I see that.
Oh, that's not
You know,
great.
forget it.
did you know what was?
Forget, because that should be working, but I'm not hearing
I
it,
felt a
which
bit
is
of
garbage.
my magic slip away from me. With that little trick that the shadow just pulled.
You see her eyes glow momentarily.
I should be
Dark
able to hear that, but it's not going. So I'm sorry, guys.
Looks like
Anyways,
some sort
well.
of shadow treading. Old magic. Very old magic, but essentially just...
Yeah, sound alerts
that's
will
your
not be
soul.
working tonight,
to inform
apparently.
someone's
So
shadow. Though if
unless you
it's
can hear it, in
some
which case,
magic, that's strange.
fucking weird, but okay. Anyways, back to the campaign. Sorry,
suppose- Wait, is the book... Well, I suppose if the book's not with you, they would have had to use some of your magic to get it away.
But yes, welcome in everybody. I hope you're all having a good evening.
Kinda
Happy
like pat
Wednesday.
myself
Week's
down.
halfway over.
Yeah, you do
Kick
not
back, relax,
feel-
and
There's a single little shred of paper left from the book. Just touching that little piece of paper, you feel immense magical power. Like, this piece of paper alone could grant multiple desires. Like, not quite full-on wishes, but this little slip of paper alone could do a lot.
I kind of like hold up the slip of paper. Here, you should have this. I don't feel comfortable with it.
As she sort of looks it over, she picks it up between two claws, not really touching it properly, and puts it back on the shelf. I would not. If you should find that tome, I would just
better
let
not
it
than
run its
what I think it
course.
was.
If it was Greg, I'm going to lose my shit.
So we're just starting the Greg hate train, gotcha.
Well, yeah, he's Greg.
True, but like.
Yes, but this other Greg,
fucking
not me,
turns
Greg.
out I was to be betrothed to Greg.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
not-
you, Greg.
Yeah. I'm just reassuring.
Not Greg Fitz.
Yeah, no, not Greg Fitz.
Yeah, not Greg Fitz, just
God,
Greg.
that sounds like that almost sounded like fucking Fred Burger from Billy and Mandy.
Greg Fitz.
Greg Fitz.
Oh my God,
Gregory, it's
forget I said anything.
cheese.
But yeah, she sort of puts that piece away, looking over that empty space. Well, I suppose someone had motive for you to get here. Besides yourselves.
Everybody's always got some kind of fucking motives all the time.
I suppose I should try and figure this out. I will, your ride, of course, is waiting. Should you need anything else, I am here to give as much information as possible. Although next time, you're welcome to take an airship. They're there for a reason. I don't see... Look, I'm just saying, the giant ape is not necessary. Please don't
Stop wrecking my home.
wreck my tower again.
giant. He really wanted to turn into a giant ape, and
That's
a friend
really
of ours
fun.
but had looked and thinking it was the only way to climb it.
I know at least one spell that is useful for me in this situation. Do it again, I will make you a banana.
Okay.
Elaborate, but you're going to make him a banana, or are you going to turn him into a banana?
Yes,
Okay, cool.
both simultaneously. A tiny banana for the banana that she turns him into.
Wait, did
His
she
little
provide
banana
a-
gambit.
Did she provide a case for this very delicate?
Nope, she just
arcane
provided you a
artifact?
ride.
Yeah, nah, well,
Ah,
we're
alright.
going
Yeah, no.
this very cautiously.
Have fun with that, losers.
I mean, this library, it's there's not really anything here for her to give you. Is the thing? It's like
Dang.
some books. She doesn't even like her throne, quote unquote, is literally made out of like big plinths of marble. There's not really much softness here for her to give you, besides the seats you're sitting on.
Wait, we've been sitting?
She brought you over to a table and sat you guys down with one of her mage hands.
I see.
Big hands.
Shall we
Big.
go? We'll see.
Mage hands, which I am right now flavoring to be named sorcery hands because they're full on big.
Wait. There is just Bigby's hand, which is a big mage hand.
Her name is not Bigby. Fuck off.
No, it's the name of the spell.
Well.
Although
no.
actually, the like non-copyright version is called Arcane Hand.
You have a biggie hand.
Biggie.
Biggie.
Big hand.
Yeah, no, spell B-I-G-G-E.
I could have a mage hand carry the little thing. Carry like the what's it? Or wait, how much? You said it weighed like 30 pounds.
It's hefty. Yeah.
Okay, mage
I
hand
mean,
will carry
I'm
2
gonna
pounds.
I'm gonna say this: a solid glass orb that like fits in your palm normally is about 5 pounds alone. This thing is like triple that size on its own without the thing that's holding it.
No, it's times like this I wish we had the big guy.
Yes, well, he's dealing with what's
Preoccupied. Did you hear in the distance?
well,
All right, I guess I'll grab it. Very, very careful.
use your mage hand on. We'll just like all hold it together.
I mean, I imagine I can just use my mage hand to help me, like, heft it.
Yeah. Also, you can like, real quick, roll me an Arcana on this device as well, please.
Alright. Yeah. 16. Wow, I'm rolling pretty hot tonight.
There's like the device itself, again, quite fragile. You feel, besides the Arcana that's actually like holding this essentially magical data, you also do feel some sort of enchantments, although you're not really sure to what degree they matter. They're quite like they're quite out of your league in terms of magic.
Oh, this thing's got a lot of juju.
So we need to get extra careful with it.
Trips.
I mean, at the
Oops.
very least, one thing you do know very well is expensive objects, and this thing is worth more than you.
This is worth more than. And if Rune was entirely made of gems, more than him.
Oh yeah, probably. Oh, this thing is worth more than our entire party's weight in gold, and almost certainly probably double that and then some.
I resent that.
But speaking of your party, I'm gonna quickly cut over to Fitz first.
Hello.
Fitz, you having escaped that little pocket dimension just with that bit of comedy, having escaped that with the help of kind of an enemy, I have to say, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we'll say frenemy. He's yet to actually kill you, dude.
A freminous.
Fremesis.
Just-
Pharmacist.
Parmesan.
That's me.
I need the plot.
Anyways.
But as he kind of helped you get out, he also he's still there with you, but looking through a couple of the shelves, pulls a few more books that he had been looking at and brings them over to you. They regard the primordial model, the old history, bunch of things I don't really need to bother with at this point. I do wish you luck. Can't do much more than that, but
Yeah.
for what it's worth.
Thanks.
Try not to die, and don't tell the dragon you saw me.
Squaw. Yeah.
Continues to be an excellent bird.
Yeah. Anyways.
I appreciate it. And with that, he gives a little nod, looks over to the shelves and pulls one book, quickly stuffing it into his pocket, before turning and heading up the stairs. Opening the door you notice leads to a different place than actually where it should when he opens it. You see bright light, you see the horizon, you see clouds near windows. It looks like probably onto an airship of some sort.
Kind of Hal's moving castle type sorcery is this?
Closes the door behind him, and he seems to be gone.
I just cocked my head to the side.
And
Just like,
it's magic, Liam.
like, well, okay. So take these books and I guess I'll walk over to the librarian with these. The little lady that was helping out earlier.
Got it. The book for interdimensional travel, by the way, as you leave, James has left it wrapped in like leather straps so no one can open it.
Yeah, good. Can I just additionally just throw that in the garbage real fast? Just like never again.
Worse idea.
Yeah. Yeah, throwing it in the garbage.
Yeah, just pick it up.
Yeah, whenever it hits the bottom of the garbage can, you hear arcane, like, something or other, and you watch as the trash can and the book within, apparently, disappears in a swirling small black hole. And then with a little, it's gone.
And before it ends up on the other side of the country in the hands of a particularly mischievous kobold.
It ends up somewhere.
Yeah, just
It
under
could very well end up somewhere else around here.
just under my breath. I'm just like, good riddance. As I just walk over to the desk.
20 feet above you, a trash can appears. Bonk.
What the fuck?
No. Yeah, as you step through the door, go and talk with the lady. Continuing to just mark through her catalogs, waiting for her sons to come back. Glances over to you, her little glasses pushed down. Find some books that you're interested in.
I did, yes. I just like set them down. It's like, I would like to check these out, please.
Wonderful. You see, she does not dare touch them because most restricted books, you know, you're smart enough to know not to touch without thinking about it.
I'm not.
She pulls a little, almost like a wand, tipped with metal out from under her desk and pushes the front cover open before stamping into the cover the checkout date, the time, all of the sort of stuff, and when they need to be brought back. She's marked it as indefinite because, like, again, you're a tourist, you're an adventurer. She knows what to do here.
Okay.
But, you're probably just gonna run off with it anyway.
You're gonna. She knows. It's just gonna. You're gonna forget it in your bag. It's whatever.
It'll end up at the bottom of that bag of holding you just stuff everything into.
Every adventurer would be like.
Every single item. It's like, oh, I know I've got this book somewhere. No, that's... Yeah.
I was like, oh hey, my crocheting kit.
She slips in there with a little bookmark into each book. before closing them up and pushing them toward you. Well, I've marked them for. I gave them a definite return date. It seems quite important based on everything going on.
Right. If we do end up making out of this, I will return these. You have my word.
Fantastic. I appreciate it. Do have a good day and good luck.
Thank you.
She gives a little nod. And yeah, you have a bunch of books about ancient history around here, history of the gods, all sorts of stuff.
Just take the books, put them in a. Do I have a bag? Or am I just holding these? Just hold them under my arms. For now, I'll just hold them under my arms.
No, he's gonna go full Hermione Granger. Okay,
exactly. Yeah. No.
With your thick fucking stack of books and your weird bird, you're able to head off. Rune.
Yes.
What were you doing after you talked to the adamantine dragon for that one moment? Where were you heading off to?
I believe I was gonna. I just talked to the bronze.
You talked to
The bronze and the brass.
Yeah.
I think there was another dragon tower I wanted to head to get some answers. Outside of them, I think.
Well, there are quite a few. That. Do you have any idea how little that narrows it down?
I don't. I do not.
You should.
But
These
there-
are your homes.
There are quite a few options here. As you've kind of gone over, you have just talked to the essentially your homeland's gods of like the equivalent of living gods. These representing things like smithing and whatnot. Your friends have already talked to the ivory dragon. Along with that, there's a few others. There are some off in the sea. There's a few shattered towers where one aquatic dragon rules over. There's many more around there. There's the obsidian dragon, which is like dark magics and whatnot. The gold dragoness, who rules over wealth and actually represents Stillabor.
You know what? That one sounds pretty good.
This goddess fills Rune with sexual energy.
Not right now.
Later.
Not later.
Not later that you know of. That you foresee.
Got it, Rune. Also, Rune, at the edge of the bronze and brass dragon's tower, there are a few constructs that look like essentially like gigantic birds. Very clearly, this is for essentially their guards to get to and fro up here. But given the situation, you could absolutely take one.
Can you repeat that? That
There's
last bit?
essentially these constructs of gigantic birds made of precious metals and whatnot. And
Squaw.
given the circumstances, you could probably take one.
Mine.
Yoink.
Doink.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, this contraption you've never worked before. Rune, I imagine you hop on as if you're about to ride like a proper wyvern or dragon.
But if I do, but before we go, I need to fully establish so I'm basically getting a crystal that can trap something.
Yeah, essentially, so a very powerful crystal that can trap. I believe you wanted to trap James.
Yes,
and yeah.
I do want the trap James.
And yeah, because
then
they were like,
shove it into the digital one.
yeah, because they were basically just like, we have no idea.
Or I
how
guess
you are going
shove
to-
the digital one into him. Fix
Yeah.
our problems.
Got it. And yeah, they're working on building that. It'll take them some time, but they said it will find you whenever it is ready. And knowing dragons, that means anything from them hucking it in your direction or them actually just sending it to you.
Just imagine just yeet.
Either or is fine.
Dropping it on your house.
Yes. See, you get it. But Rune, you have establishing that you have asked them to make you a device to essentially trap James, given that a weapon powerful enough to stop him would probably do a lot to harm you.
Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm seeing a place where our two plans can converge.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
You see, we're both trying to trap some kind of half god. So what if we trap one and use it to trap the other?
But we don't know if it, like, the item we're getting is like a one-time use. Is the thing.
The other thing is James is not at all to the point of being like godly power. This creature was like the storms they are making are massive. Just in flying. There's no effort behind it. You have no idea how powerful this creature is, but it's certainly more powerful than James. As he said, something almost fucking ate me when I was flying.
Right.
Plus, he's like nerfed right now too.
I mean, we can always just siphon.
He's only as powerful as the magic he absorbs,
Ah,
which means that it runs out eventually. That is
Bird
why
energy.
that's why James
So
was so
what you're
supercharged.
telling me, his power waxes and wanes.
Well, yeah, it's why he, whenever he absorbed the Mind Flayer, he was supercharged enough to nearly kill all of you. But that only worked once.
Right.
so he's like. No, it's not.
Huh.
That said, you only know how powerful he is when he shows you his hand. And that's the real problem.
I mean, we can always see his hands.
I'm gonna kill you.
Cut off his
Actually,
hands.
You know what? The Primordial has turned around.
Oh no.
Oh no. Liam, hold off.
But yeah, Rune, as you figure out everything that needs to be done, and I suppose hop onto this machine you've never worked before. What the fuck should you roll to see if you can pilot this thing?
Intelligence.
No. He's not particularly good at that, so
No,
thankfully not.
Use religion. Let Stillborn take the wheel.
No! I'm not an idiot.
Feel the ball, take the wheel.
I'm sorry, I had
Let
a
Jesus
suggestion.
take the wheel.
I will
Stillborn
say-
guide me.
What's a Jesus?
I think
I'll give you
I think
a
it's a type of
choice.
cracker.
So, sleight of hand or maybe strength to just brute force figuring this shit out. Or if you want to be really daring, you can try an animal handling this mechanical creature.
Yes, the barbarian strategy of punch it till it works.
Barbarian.
Barbarian.
But that is up to you, Rune. Detective Rune, investigate how it works. No.
Yes, I believe it operates
I'm
by
just
way
gonna,
of
I don't know, I'm
machinery.
just gonna try it. Like, it's just metal bird, can't be that hard. Who needs a pilot license, right, boys?
What do you roll to
Metal sky.
you know, I'm gonna call this a luck check. You You know what? We're gonna call this call this luck. So roll con for this.
Constitution.
Yeah, just roll Constitution. Because I'm gonna call this a luck check, and I think that con pertains to luck in this case. Okay,
A lot of 16s.
Rune.
Yeah.
Hopping onto this creature, it has like footholds like a motorcycle behind its wings, and handholds behind some metal feathers. Getting on. The moment you do, it just sort of like Fitz's bird getting off his shoulder, just sort of like tipping forward without actually moving at all. Rune,
Oh no.
like a fucking stone, you tip off of the edge of a multiple mile high volcano. A sheer drop opening up beneath you as you quickly begin to fall. Immediately, it just looks like you're gonna die.
I see.
And as it begins to fall quicker and quicker and quicker, the clouds part for just a moment, and you feel just a little bit lucky, just a little bit blessed, as the mechanical creature spreads its wings. Bonk. As it spreads its wings and begins to properly fly. Inadvertently, not even really trying, you begin to pilot this bird. Some way, somehow, it came naturally to you, although you are not particularly good at it. With a 16, that's not perfect luck, and there's still quite a bit of turbulence, and like every so often it just sort of like catches itself midair and has to figure its shit back out.
I forget, how do I fly?
Essentially, because there's
How
dude
gravity
who-
works?
Do gravity work?
just some dude who's like, it's your brain, I'm gonna pilot it.
How do the flappy flap?
Yeah, you get it.
I asked myself that a lot at work, like,
But
how do?
Rune, after it starts to kind of figure itself out, you're on this construct, and at the very least, you know where you need to go, and this thing seems perfectly capable of getting there.
I see.
So what do you do, Mr. Brightpaz?
I think I'm gonna fly to the foot of Golden so I can pay my respects to my god. Also just say hi, I guess. and get some words of wisdom.
A Stillabor, you up?
Hey, yo, God, you up?
What's that ass do, God?
Hey yo, God, you DTF, hey?
Not like that.
We're just friends, I admire her power.
Ah, yeah, sure. That's what they all say.
Yeah, Rune. Again, not really something that you're good at piloting. And in fact, heading down for a proper landing, like heading for the bottom of the tower, it occurs to you that you didn't actually figure out how to land before you took a full-on flight.
Well,
Roll me a dexterity save
I'm
as the
doing it.
ground gets closer and
Oh
closer.
no, I'm bad at those.
Oh,
Godspeed.
Yes, it is godly speed. You're fine. You're fine. What is your health?
Also, that dex save is actually a 15. Oh, no,
What
wait,
is your health?
No, wait, more than that. It's 17.
Your health
What
is
is
a
your health?
17?
18, actually.
that's an
because paladin.
Got it.
My health is like at 80.
Oh.
That full.
Got it. Just wanted to check. No matter what, you'll take some damage from this, but
What's the temporary hit points?
good. As you go to land, it's sort of like someone sat you in the cockpit of a plane mid-flight and was like, "Hey, land it." The controls for doing that are not just holding the reins and getting this shit working. You feel just outside where your knuckles are, like little buttons and switches and whatnot, and it's suddenly so much more complicated than you thought. As your luck very quickly runs out. And with a single attempt, one of the talons of this machine reached to the ground, and then it just flings you in a full-on barrel roll across the ground. You take 2d8 damage.
Nice.
Plus 4.
Nailed it.
The machine is practically destroyed.
I'll have to
Like-
get another.
Beautiful golden wings, missing most of their feathers now. These little arcane, essentially like little
I
jets.
didn't know I'd have to learn how to land.
What do you mean land?
What is this land you speak of?
We're gonna go ahead and roll these 2d8 for you.
Land? What are you talking about? The land's
Okay,
right there.
so 9 plus 4, 13 damage. Got like so lucky. You actually see like a rock just a few feet ahead of where you were that your head would have absolutely rolled over. Your luck didn't entirely run out, I suppose.
Still a little bit of Lady Dragoness God or luck on your side. Not God. Fucking. You know.
Yeah, I know.
Words are better in my head.
It's fair. But Rune, you find yourself, firstly sore, with a broken automata kind of smoking on the ground behind you, occasionally squawking out little robotic cries. But ahead of you, a massive tower of white stone with little, essentially like little veins of gold spider webbing through it the entire way up.
Well, time to climb.
At the base, by
It's
the way,
beautiful.
carved into the very bottom is a vast marble shrine to Astilabor. There's also a second shrine like nearby that is literally just a shrine worshipping wealth itself.
As all
Like-
things should be.
Like just yes, currency worship.
Yes.
Praise be the money.
Capitalism. It's beautiful. Oh.
Oh, no.
Jesus.
He's a pig, not a dragon.
You fool.
How
Can't
do
be the
you
least pig.
how do you find a dragon? Go to a bank.
Yeah. But Rune, from within the Astilabor Shrine, you actually see the beginnings of a ladder leading up to some handholds.
I climb.
Okay. Yeah, and climb up you do. And even as you begin, immediately, like, this tower is very different. This is the one where all the money went into, because this is the Dragon of Wealth.
It's built different.
The Gold Dragon, the Gold Dragoness, formerly the Silver Dragoness, before she, like, actually plated herself with gold.
As all things should be.
Ow, ow, ow. That doesn't feel like it should count in making you a gold dragon. You just delete yourself.
Astilabor chose her, so she chose to gild herself. She called herself the Gilded Dragon, but people began to call her the Gold Dragon, so the name stuck. That said,
But there can only be one, and that is your wife.
Rune, as you begin to climb, you actually feel like cooling spells on your armor, keeping you from like overheating during the climb. And you actually feel, for a brief moment, just you feel parched, and then all of a sudden, immediately hydrated. This is the equivalent of like the easy mode tower. Because this tower has just so many expensive like spells and magics like going with it, and even more so, it's got so many resting spots. You actually see like the equivalent of glamping up this tower. Very much something connected with wealth.
Note to self, fix this later.
Silently looks up glamping.
What is glamping? Ah, yes, I will conquer the wilds. But yeah, making your way up is surprisingly easy.
Okay.
Yeah, glam camping.
Okay. For a second I thought, is that like glomping?
No.
Whoa,
What the hell?
hold on.
You.
Oh no. That's something different entirely.
Yeah,
Just a-
exactly. That's why I was afraid.
Just a bunch of people getting glum.
Getting concussed.
God damn it. But the way up is surprisingly easy. There's actually a couple of trails even where like the handholds stop and there's just spiraled trails leading up. There's not very many of them, and they're not very expansive, but it's just very obvious that this was made for people who aren't really built for the climb. And even still, once you get to the end of your journey up to the top, when you get to the final little trail, it's dusty and untouched. No one has come to see these dragons in quite a long time. Even the people who were like coming their way up here, these like, again, like the equivalent of glamping, like I said, it's like little cabins kind of set up into the rock. The lights were on, but no one was there. This tower has been abandoned for a while, at least by the people who were supposed to be here. All the faithful.
Not so faithful now.
Motherfuckers. Rune's got some conquering to do later.
But Rune, do you think, would Rune have climbed this tower in his youth?
Maybe. I would say probably at some point. Maybe this is like the moment he was like knighted a paladin, like when he came up here for the first time.
Got it. With that knowledge then, Rune, your memory of this place, a gilded palace made entirely of gold, within magics that were just insanely kind and helpful and just beautiful. Things that felt truly holy and at the same time just lavish greeted you last time you were here. You never felt hungry, you never felt thirsty, you never felt too cold or too warm. You just felt like everything was here for you. And the place that you were in reflected that. That's no longer the case. As you come to the end of the trail, cusping over to where normally would be the gilded palace, you see a tarnished, crumbling building. You feel the magics here and there. You can tell that there's strong arcana, but it hasn't been tended to in a very long time. And where normally the gilded dragon's guards would be and the statues watching over them would be, there is nothing here.
Rune's on guard.
There aren't even adamantine statues here, actually.
That's what makes him nervous. Rune's gonna be on guard.
Got it. Well, the palace lies before you, and besides that, there are the graves of past paladins, something that you would have probably seen before. They're gilded graves, slightly tarnished by age and not being tended to. The vines that normally would be held up in walls and shrubs to protect the graves, now overgrowing and actually overtaking those said graves. Besides that, the areas for the quarters for like paladin training, for her royal guard, those have long since crumbled away. The building itself actually collapsed. In fact, one of the elders that you knew to be corrupt would have been here, and that building isn't there, so you can at least guess that one of them isn't alive.
Who is committing such heresy?
Before you is the palace. Do you enter?
Rune's gonna approach in cautiously, but before he goes in, he's gonna armor up. Basically, he's gonna manifest his Echo like as armor again, like on top of him as he's gonna walk in like he'll just leave like covered.
Got it. Stepping through the door to
And this time he's basically he has like kind of like a cape sort of like but it's like a pure gold thread made of pure energy essentially, like radiance.
Got it. Radiant golden Superman. Got it.
Superman Prime 1 million.
Fuck. Crypto the Superdog, more like. Rune, stepping in with your billowing cape. You don't ask for it, but like wind blows just perfectly to give you that sort of superhero stance for just a moment. But stepping through the vast doorway into this palace, you see what was once perfectly shined, pristine marble and golden flooring is now cracked and shattered, and in fact caves away to some of the cave systems beneath. Where you can see occasionally some of the giant insects that are part of your homeland just moving around and doing their day-to-day thing. It's strange. The amount of time that would have had to pass for this amount of damage to be here is just about your entire life, at least.
He's just gonna he's in full mission mode, so he's just
Got it.
He keeps walking.
Roll me an Arcana check, by the way.
Okay. I'm bad at the. Oh,
Oh,
never mind!
damn.
Oh,
Rude.
damn! Close
That-
enough. Detective Rune. On the case, but
Wizard Rune!
Wizard Rune.
Slowly-
Heretic Rune, Wizard Rune.
Rune,
Rune is
that
just an
thought-
advanced form.
Instead of it's like Gandalf with the pipe weed.
Your
instead
cape
of
for a
like
moment is the robe.
instead of the caper look with the normal pipe.
God damn it. Got it, though. So, that thought of, it would take like a whole lifetime to bring this amount of age here, that is true normally. But in fact, looking this over, you can feel like outside of the Arcana that has sort of shifted things around in your world, this sort of, the chronomancy, there is a more direct Arcana still lingering here. Like someone directly brought wizards and said, hey, age this place. And thinking on it even longer, you actually can feel there were some amounts of like time freezing spells, things to almost put someone in a pocket of time and then just let it go.
Hmm.
This couldn't have been all that long ago, maybe a few years. But the amount of time that's passed within this place, just the top of this tower, hundreds of years. In the span of only a few.
Think about right.
And looking ahead of you into this place, the statues that once were of Stillabor and the goddesses of wealth and the many gods of just, well, essentially draconic, I wouldn't say like supremacy, but sort of pride and whatnot. None of those still stand. And even the throne, or I suppose plinth, of the Gilded Dragon has long since shattered into two pieces. The vein of gold that once held it together, long since tarnishing to not much more than a dull thread. You see the walls covered in scratches marking the days that quickly turn to just being essentially slashes to the walls, illegible.
You gotta keep going forward. Like,
It's,
you just increase
yeah.
it like a. Well, I can only describe Rune's like facial expression. It's like a silent anger. Like it's a silent, seething anger. Like he's too angry to be angry.
Fair enough. Passing this way, you actually pass toward the doors to what was the private chambers of everyone who would work here. Everyone who would have been here within the palace, tending to it, tending to the magics. The rooms that would eventually lead further into the tower of the Gilded Dragon. The door opens of its own accord, and it is just it's skeletons and the stench of death. A miasma of death greeting you at the door. Sat silently among it, laying at the foot of stairs at the far end of the hall, a dragoness. Their scales long since tarnished to just about black as night. Flecks of gold here and there, the silver that lied beneath just barely still showing. But a tarnish of age covering it all. Their eyes closed, but you can just see the bags under them of tiredness, of just exhaustion. And as you continue into this hall, looking just for a moment as they open and look ahead, just bloodshot, pupils pinpricks, a mind that has long since snapped. Looking out at you.
Rune very calmly, like go to like grab the javelin of lightning, almost looking like he's gonna brandish it, but then he's going to slowly put it down. To show that she's trying to gesture he's not on the ground.
Got it. The dragoness goes to stand, and you watch their form sort of warble. Someone becoming faithless is normal in a lot of cases. It doesn't really affect you. In this case, Rune, without any rules, this is a long, drawn process. This creature, this dragoness, has willingly allowed themselves to sort of fester and corrupt in some ways. As their form sort of warbles and they take a couple of steps toward you, you watch their body almost like liquid as they take their steps, all of their joints sort of seeming to bend unnaturally, and each step having this sort of wet movement to it, leaving puddles of ichor behind with each step. Looking down upon you, this essentially almost a demigod, or at least what would have been a long time ago. Looking down at you, wordlessly, looking you over.
Am I getting any vibes of badness in
You
terms of like
get-
wishing to bring me harm?
You don't know. Reading their face is just about impossible. In fact, as they move, some of the ichor sloughs off of them, and you can see some of the gold flecks still there within it. They are essentially, they've chosen for this to happen in some ways. What is it you seek in this cursed place?
Answers. What has befallen our faith?
You see a small smile that quickly spreads as the edge of her mouth opens all the way around her neck, just about like teeth, just the whole way down for a moment. A chuckle that quickly turns into an echo that shakes the walls. Faith is weak. I learned that a long time ago. Should have added
Faith
to
is our armor.
only so long as that armor has the ability to protect you. Is it worth having? If the armor does nothing, what is the point of holding on to it? Sentimentality or stupidity? My armor is
So wrong that you forgot the most important aspect of it. That armor is not for us. That armor is for those we pledge ourselves to. It is not ours to bear. Why have you
There's a long moment without any movement.
As Rune just, he doesn't even, the anger is like gone now. As it's just pity.
Asking that question, the answer is kind of obvious, Rune. Looking around you, everyone's dead. Everything here is destroyed, and this creature that was once a gilded dragon was just stuck here watching it happen. Ageless, as dragons are, unable to stop it. Without being able to touch or see a Stillabor's light. Because goddesses certainly don't tend to save the godless, do they? And it seems that at some point she decided I wasn't worth her time. You can see webbing out from one of their vast, essentially like a clawed paw, essentially. Tendrils of the ichor kind of moving out between the cracks in the floor. Trapped and alone, her voice did not reach me. And when I was no longer alone, still she did not speak. Your goddess is a sham. It took me too
sadly, like just like still a born never left any of us. We were led astray. And now we are paying the consequences for our actions. And great, ancient, powerful evil has taken root. And there's only so much evil God can do. I know that now.
She looks you over, almost a look of pity on her own face for you, sighing softly. You've been led astray yourself. You'll see that one day, just as I did. You'll see it one day.
I'm going to fix this.
There's nothing to fix. What happened was an awakening. Punishment without a crime.
You were not punished.
Maybe not by her,
I'll be right back.
but her lack of rescue.
I'll be right back, guys.
was
1 second.
beyond the thing doing such a thing to me. But it does say a lot. Sort of distant gaze looking away from you, just off into nowhere, 1,000-yard stare. I suppose you wouldn't realize you were the one being fooled until it was too late. Though that already happened at Leviathan for you, didn't it?
What do you mean?
What I think we both know that your elders weren't exactly as truthful as they thought, or as you thought. Is it really so crazy to say that a syllable may be just as bad? One needs to keep their tools in line after all.
You may be ancient, but hold your tongue.
You find anger because you feel that I may be right.
Never.
Of course, because of course, she must be telling the truth because she's taking care of you. What a sick joke. Tell yourself what you like. I'm growing bored of you. As another step quite close to you shatters the floor beneath you, you dropping about a foot. Not really dropping through the floor, but a clear amount of power that you can't really contend with. When you see through the sham, don't say I didn't warn you.
The thing that you have mistaken is that we were led astray not by our goddess, but by the people who worship her. We have misinterpreted the message.
I know the message. Kindness, care, accumulation of not wealth but emotions. I'm very aware. You don't know how long I spent caring for this false idol. I am done doing so.
Oh, God damn it.
I was not led astray by the mortals I trained myself.
Did you know?
I knew they misinterpreted my message, but they wouldn't take any other.
No. Did you know
time of this place, just like the rest of the world, has been corrupted. This was not meant to happen.
I have
This
many
is all
memories.
wrong.
I have many memories, and I know what you speak of. A miserable life surrounded by worshippers who didn't understand what I was trying to tell them. No, this is quite right. What you think is so wrong is because you can't accept that the world that you left behind is not the one that was meant to be. Although I wouldn't be worrying about the things that have changed, I'd worry about if you're going to be here when they finish changing.
Then help me fix this. If
I've
things
given
are
you the
wrong,
information you need, and that's all I can give.
what, and stay here? Among corpses, wallowing in your own self-pity? When the world needs you?
Perhaps.
Pathetic. It's weak.
Or perhaps I'm done with the draconic bravado of pretending weakness is unacceptable.
No. Weakness is something to be conquered by all men, by all mortals. I know that now. The veil between people is thin.
Fitz.
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually move over to you for just a moment.
Okay.
In all those books you got, have you been to read through them at all?
Yeah, of course. Trying to gather up knowledge on the primordial and then learning the history of this place.
Going to the primordial, like looking through the books and looking through stuff about the primordial, a lot of these books talk about the first draconic lord,
Mhm.
who you know is the primordial, essentially.
Right.
What created this nation. There is a point in one of these books that you realize is an actual direct account of the defeat of the primordial. It references a betrayal by mortals, not by the gods. The primordial, at least according to this text, was killed by mortals that soon became the first gods.
Okay.
The first among them being some sort of dragonborn, or at least that is what they appear to be. Quickly, it is documented some sort of shifter or changeling turned out to be the one who dealt the killing blow, and then became the first of the gods. Which means that very well there could still be a god out there that is what the primordial is looking to destroy, whoever actually killed them.
All right.
I bring this up now because Fitz, what you see in all of this information is the account, essentially naming that god, the false dragoness, Asura, or translated, Astilabor. Yes. Also marked as the Betrayer.
Fuck. Hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Fitz, at the very least, you know that that Rune worships a Stillmore. And he kind of marked his plans to talk with some of the dragons. More likely than not, he may well have gone to talk with the dragon of his god. Which in this specific instance could be quite bad.
Can I try to... I guess, like, find Rune, try to warn him, I suppose? Or try to make sure he doesn't do anything rash? Can I attempt that?
You can... I'm... Finding Rune is not entirely... It's not that hard, I will say.
Right.
Just given that, like, where he was going initially, you know, which was the Bronze and Brass Dragons.
Right.
I'm gonna have you roll me a insight check to see if you would realize where he'd go after.
Okay, let me find...
Oh no, Jarf died.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
I'm here.
Oh, your thing died on the website.
Oh.
Ah, well, no, shit.
Fitz, thinking about it, you... So, you realize where they are going. Absolutely.
Right.
Thinking about it, Rune is probably going to see his goddess. So the dragon which represents them would definitely be the golden one. That makes sense. Fitz, you aren't from here. You have no fucking clue where that would be.
Can I try to look up a map or try to get a tour guide? Should I ask around and try to find out where I may find this
Gonna roll off of your 5, buddy.
Okay.
You find a tour guide. They do not speak any of the languages you speak.
Okay.
Exclusively, they speak Halfling and Giant Eagle. It's the best you could find very quickly.
Fair. Do I not speak Halfling? Because I'm not...
Halfling is its own language, I believe.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Okay then, never mind.
However, like, again, you can try and, like, get somewhere. Liam and Abigail,
Yeah.
you guys were heading back down with your, information.
Yes.
Fitz.
Hi.
Not very far away, you actually see a small airship with a terrified elven woman and your 2 friends, beginning to take a landing over at one of the land platforms.
I just pat the tour guide on the shoulder. Thanks for the help, buddy, and I just kind of rush off to...
Just something that makes no sense. Definitely Irish.
Gracias.
Oh, shit, the river.
Old Celtic.
Scheiße.
That I understand. No. Oh, God.
Puro shit abajo allá.
But yeah, Liam, Abigail. The whole way down, this high elven woman has been freaking out as occasionally you guys see in the distance the movements of the primordial. The entire way down, it's just been a mini freak out from her every time there's movement in the distance. Just like, okay.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
It's fine, I'm not worried. But as they come in for a landing, yeah, Fitz. You see your friends, and yeah, you guys see Fitz with a stack of books.
Oh, how you doing, non-nemesis Greg?
Non-nemesis. Oh, right. Yeah. It's good. I got some books. Found out some stuff too, that may.
We got some books too. I hold up the crystal lantern thing.
Careful, Liam. We need to get this.
Yeah, cool. Bunch of fucking nerds we are. Anyways, my information kind of pertains more to the more importance and need to fucking go now situation, I believe.
I think we got some information that can help us trap this fucking dragon.
At the very least, Fitz.
Yeah.
Based on your information, you may not need to trap the dragon.
Okay. So, actually, with that, we might not need to trap anybody in anything. So it turns out in one of these nifty little books, the... let me make sure I got my information right. The Golden God's a sham, right?
Essentially, Rune's goddess. So to put it more bluntly, for both of you guys, for all three of you guys,
Right.
Rune's goddess Astilabor was once a mortal. One of the mortals who betrayed the primordial, what would eventually kill them. They became one of the first gods. However, they were not. They were essentially just. They betrayed him not for like, oh, he is evil, he is the problem here. The creator would have gladly done that if that were the case.
Mm-hmm.
It appeared, at least based on this account, it was essentially a grab for power. And now the primordial's back, and more than likely, at least based on thinking for a moment with any amount of common sense, probably wants to kill whoever the fuck betrayed him. Given that information as well, though, if Astilabor isn't some holy god, but instead some sort of evil person who stole godhood, maybe their goals aren't so pure. And here's Rune, kind of fighting for her against what could very well be an innocent creature that you guys just released by accident. So a lot of problems based on the information you've gained.
Mm-hmm.
But most importantly, at this exact moment, where is Rune? And what the fuck is going on?
Yes. So, do you guys have any idea where the big guy went? Did he say anything before he left y'all?
He went up one of them towers.
Astute observation, buddy.
Now you're welcome. That's my specialty.
Shithead.
Fuck you.
We need to get to him before even more shit goes down. Because he might be in the middle of some... We're already in the middle of madness, but this is even more dangerous madness.
Uh-huh. Care to elaborate there?
Reading into the books, it tells of Astilabor, and Astilabor...
She betrayed the primordials, if you would like to put it shortly.
Yes, Astilabor betrayed the primordial, And my thinking is that the primordial that we've unleashed is going out to look for a Stillbore to possibly kill them, essentially, I think. To take revenge on that who's betrayed them. And if I'm not mistaken, Rune worships a Stillbore, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And he's currently at the tower which represents a Stillbore. Something that...
Do we know that?
That isn't what you guys directly know, but if a...
I feel like...
Guys,
yeah, I feel like now that... welcome back. I feel like now that... you're good. I feel like now that Fitz is starting to like say it out loud, he's slowly starting to put the pieces together, probably.
Alright. Yeah, I'll allow that.
Okay. So if Rune worships a Stillbore, then... surely one of these towers has to represent the goddess, right?
At the very least... Here's what I'll say as DM to you guys.
Yeah.
Because you guys started this campaign pirating and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Fitz, you especially have pirated.
Yes.
Maybe you guys don't know this land very well, and maybe you don't know where anything representing a Stillbore would be. You don't really even know where a temple would be.
Fair.
However, there's a terrified elf behind you guys right now in an airship.
Mm-hmm.
That probably doesn't have very much health. I don't imagine it'd be that hard to threaten them.
I was also going to say, I think I could by just nature suss out like roughly what to look for, because Stillborn earned by Rune likes wealth. Wealth is apparently associated with Stillborn. Earned
Giant,
paid,
super giant golden dildo sticking out in the middle of the mountain. Paige was a gold dragon, and he thought she was a Stillborn. Earned the Tower of Wealth. Like, the problem is that we don't know where that is, but at least we know what we're looking for, the Tower of Wealth. Or Spire of Wealth, or whatever it's called.
You're a tourist. No one's going to judge you for that.
Hello. What has transpired? I have been given a can of mandarin oranges to eat.
Oh, nice.
Wonderful.
I was just basically sussing out from what my character knows of Rune, and some of you assumptions. It would possibly be we should look for the Spire of Wealth, if that is such a thing. I assume it would be.
Liam slowly turns around and kind of like gives that look at the lady, like letting his glasses kind of drop down a little bit to show his freaky eyes. You know your way around here.
Okie dokie. Yep, sure. Just put the glasses back on.
All right then, we got a deal.
Her stats are like a 4 on everything, so she was gonna fail a check.
Nice.
I just accepted a fail for her.
Before we go, one of us needs to deliver this fragile piece of tech to James.
I mean, we could probably just go ahead and take care of that. We could have Elf Lady fly us over close by the docks where the ship is.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What actually is your name? I don't really want to call you Elf Lady.
I don't think we need to be on a first name basis.
I'll just call you Taxi.
All right.
Sorry, ma'am. The fate of the world is at stake at the moment. I do
Helena.
apologize.
Anyway.
Thank you,
Just-
Helena. We do apologize.
All right.
She, there's a look of fear on her face that's just perpetually stuck.
Yeah, don't worry. compensate you?
They just pull down their goggles onto their face. Just take a deep breath. Look, the quicker this is over, the quicker I can abandon this entire nation. So get in the ship.
Actually,
Yes, ma'am.
Does she seem particularly skilled at this?
At flying, yeah.
Yeah. You know, we might have a line for a new employer for you if you're interested.
Just looking at you with just a very serious gaze of just, after this I'm burning every bridge I can possibly burn, so maybe.
Alright. Cornwall will be very interested to hear that.
I assume you're trying to get her in line with friggin', what's his name? Cornwall.
I feel like Cornwall would love a skilled air pilot.
I know, but the thing is, I'm just imagining her, like, actually, like, oh my god, no.
No,
Like,
get her on with Cornwall, get her some levels.
Fair enough. Fair and reasonable, even.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you guys getting in, at the very least, she's a good pilot, and the ship that she has was, she got it when she was on payroll with a fucking Elder Dragon, so it's pretty fucking good for what it's supposed to be doing here.
Okay.
Ooh, faux leather.
It's real leather.
Oh.
Real leather and mink fur.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is that Gucci shit.
But yeah, it's
Liam can't tell the difference.
Liam. I'm surprised Liam's not just fully colorblind, honestly. How can he tell the difference in anything?
No, he can't tell the difference in the quality.
Because he's
It feels like-
dumb.
It feels like leather to me. No, he's above average intelligence, I'll have you know.
You can be above average intelligence and still be dumb. You can be
He
intelligent
has a-
and dumb.
Yeah.
He has an intelligence score of 12.
Yeah, you're nice and intelligent, but you're not smart.
Yeah.
anyway.
Let me remind you, you and I both unleashed a fucking primordial.
Yeah.
True.
And you stabbed it.
There's a reason I am the brains of this operation.
Like, you could have jumped in and talked to it. No, let me stab it.
No, this dumbass was thinking of drinking its water, mind you.
Yeah, just death. Just, your consciousness is replaced. You are now a primordial. Enjoy.
How do you feel having your boyfriend as a primordial?
God, thank Fitz.
Anyways.
It's a quick enough flight for her to get you guys over to the little ship to drop the device off. That much is easy. Cornwall himself comes out to take it from you guys, realizing, hey, you guys look like you are in a fucking hurry.
Alright,
I basically get this to James, get him to analyze it.
Yeah, just plug that into him, whatever it is you do with that stuff, I don't know.
Stick it up its arse. Oh wait, no, wrong James.
James might be the only person that can find what information of use within this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, be incredibly gentle with it. It's very fragile. I don't want to piss off a ivory dragon.
Also, Helena Cornwall.
Hello? Hello? Can we go now? I would like to get out of this nation as soon as possible.
Yep. She's a very skilled pilot.
He just, gives that little tap to a temple and goes, got it. Before she fucking floors it. She wants to be out of here yesterday, and she has been stopped at every turn.
Don't worry, we'll get her on the crew.
Certainly not her intention in this moment, but got it.
It's a hope.
Oh, Rune crashed too? Come on, guys, we're going in!
Rune, for your part, up here where you are with this what's left of the Gilded Dragon almost. Currently, for lack of a better name, the Tarnished Dragon. You kind of have that feeling you had whenever you first awoke a few days ago, in this just about new world, of all of your memories, of course. It doesn't seem like either Rune really thought much about Estillabor's place or anything, like really thought about her more than just, your usual, we worship our goddess, you know, caring for her. But a lot of questions posed by this creature, even without Rune really doubting Estillabor, still answers a lot of questions. Because as much as you, Rune, talking to her like, oh, Estillabor never left you. If that were the case, then so many years, so much time probably wouldn't have passed for this dragon. In all honesty, it seems like she kind of did. Even before her faith left her.
That's not really what Rune meant, I think. Like, he meant more so, like, Estillabor means well for all of her children to prosper. This is not what she wanted, and she, like, her, she never lost faith in you, probably. Why would you lose faith in her? Like, is what he meant.
Even rolling off of that, I'll say Estillabor has stepped in directly to help you, Rune. Her supposed chosen.
#protagonist.
That said, this dragoness represents Estillabor in the mortal plane to a staggering degree. Their wills are, at least whenever you started to worship Estillabor, their wills were one and the same. Her word and Estillabor's word were one and the same. For your god not to step in directly and rescue them from this fate it's weird.
Which is why I think, at least Rune's theory, is that, like, this timey-wimey-ness is, like, fucking with Estillabor's ability. And a lot of the gods' ability to interfere, because they wouldn't allow this. It doesn't make any sense.
Fair enough.
Like, they would help if they could. Like, that's what Rune truly believes.
Which is a valiant thought.
Either she did something prior to incur the god's wrath, or, and Rune thinks is much more likely, they were unable to intervene in her fate because of the time shit. Which is why he wants to fix this, because that's why he's looking at her with pity, because she's a victim. Like, she's just another victim.
Got it. Just wanted to hear your take on it. With that all said and sort of put into words. Wait 1 second. La Musica? Pancake? There we go.
No.
There it is. With all that put into words, and you sort of regarding her with pity, her regarding you much the same, both sides pretty sure that they're right, really getting nowhere. She, again, as she has said already, crumbling the stones you stand on, that she grows bored of you. You do feel as if you are being threatened at this moment. You do feel like you are in danger, and like you probably couldn't contend with this creature. You're not sure. I mean, this is certainly not a dragoness, or at least they are, but they're not at all to the power of the dragoness you once knew.
In Rune's mind, I think Rune has basically come to the conclusion, and I, as a player, have also come to the conclusion that she's basically like a full dragon equivalent of like of an Oathbreaker. So,
At least, yes.
At least.
Because based on how
That
she's moving almost
that
liquid.
or Rune's and my worst fear is that she is a Draco, which would be a whole nother can of worms.
I will say, thankfully, that doesn't appear to be true. But you do feel like, again, Oathbreaker, probably a good guess. She's definitely got some abyssal magic that she is either channeling or that, she's just opened herself up to, as again, almost moving like liquid in some ways. Almost like she's barely holding shape in some strange ways. That all said, could probably crush you if she wanted to.
But my question is, then why hasn't she?
Doesn't seem like she wants to hurt you. But it's like, at this moment is like, she will. Or at least that seems to be her eventual intent.
Rune's gonna calmly just reach down to pick up his weapon, and then just, sheath it, and he's just gonna turn his back to her. Just like...
I swear that I will make things right.
Making right with false idols can only do so much. May you find your truth, Brightpaz. You found it once here. Maybe you'll find it again. It's something real this time, I should hope.
That's not what I meant.
Maybe not.
I meant... I'm gonna make everything right.
And that's when he starts, walking off.
Got it. Her last words to you before she turns to head up her tower, essentially, are just, you can try, but you're no god. Before she finds herself gone.
Gotcha. Give me just a second.
Got it. And Fitz, Liam, Abigail, I imagine you guys have said head for the Tower of Wealth, or whatever Tower of Gold.
Yeah. Head for it, double time, step it,
And yeah, she begins to head that way with you guys. Abigail, being the most knowledgeable, knowledgeable book-wise or school-wise in this between the three of you, do you look at the info that Fitz has gained?
Yes.
Got it.
Sorry, my family was kind of wanted to talk to me.
You're good.
You're good.
Reading through it, you get a bit of a better grasp on it, kind of just immediately. To put it in a direct timeline, Primordial sees the other Primordial gods shirking their duties, decides to essentially try and take their places. Does a genuinely better job than them in a lot of ways. The creator decides that he's becoming too powerful and begins to plot to get rid of him, to essentially reabsorb him, to go back to just being the one god herself. Someone betrays them both. Although there is one noticeable thing based through all of this information, and that's that the Primordials could have absolutely killed someone if they had known they were being betrayed. It seems that they probably never figured out who even betrayed them. Which means at the least while Rune may well be safe from the Primordial, the question is, once the Primordial was free, why didn't she tell him? Not sharing this info is probably not good. But further with that, the plot to betray these old gods the motives are not pure. The motives are simply like, again, power, wanting to rule, wanting to have it all for yourself, essentially. And these people became the first gods, the first pantheon. And while all of the first pantheon eventually died, a Stillabor didn't.
You guys are interpreting this a lot different than I am, I think.
More than likely.
Yeah.
But essentially what is written here is quite simply that every time something has gone wrong, there's always one person standing above it at the end of everything. Once the ashes have settled, it seems that one golden dragoness is standing there, or perhaps false dragoness, if these old accounts are to be taken as true.
This is troubling. This is very troubling. If we confront Rune with this, it won't end well.
Oh, Pancake is freaking.
Yeah, Pancake is
what the
really
hell?
freaking out.
Yeah.
Oh,
good.
that wasn't me. That wasn't me.
Yeah, no.
Goodbye, Pancake.
Bye.
So
You
I
have been-
basically
you
say
have
to
been banished.
I say to the a crew, this is not good. This is not good at all. We can't confront Rune about this because this
There we go.
this could be bad. This could cause
Damn it, Vexera.
punishment.
Well, what choice do we have?
Damn it, Vexera. Why is everything broken?
If it is to be believed, Stillborn may not be as good as Rune makes her out to be.
Mm-hmm.
And he is just a pawn.
Pancake. Please be good. Thanks, Pancake. Sorry for that.
Yeah. It's like I feel for the guy, and he's, but having your whole religion kind of being revealed to be a sham, I mean, yes, that's going to hurt drastically, but
Or
again,
at least the origins that a Stillabor presents to everyone.
mm-hmm.
Like, maybe the religion is fine, but her origins certainly aren't.
Or at the very least, her origins.
Oh, damn
And
it, Pancake.
music is just fucking up.
Okay.
Maybe just give it a rest for a bit,
Maybe
and then
try DJ Deceased. Good old Vexera.
Vexera ain't working. Maybe Fred. No, Fred Boat's really annoying to use these days.
Fred.
Okay, I have an idea. One second.
Yep.
Frustration. That's one thing I can say with confidence. Fucking frustration.
We'll be right back in a moment. We're having some technical difficulties.
This is why we should do things in person. I'm kidding. Okay, and that would be very difficult.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm just going to fucking stream this.
That oh boy.
Yeah.
I hope it's loud enough.
Am I loud enough? Because my thing is weird.
You're
I can hear you.
Am I quiet?
You're kind of quiet, yeah.
yeah. It's a problem with his disc, with his mic with Discord.
It's with
His Michael is giving him difficulties.
Well, yeah, no, trust me. Anytime he watches a stream, his mic goes to like half volume.
No.
I am so sad in this moment.
Yeah, just all the way down. Whoa.
Whoa.
Maybe it'd be easier if I just gave you guys the track to listen to. Here.
Yeah, it would probably help.
It's in Sea Dog's writ. This is what we've got playing right now.
Okay.
You might want to look into making use of the jukebox.
Making use of the what?
The Roll20 jukebox.
Yeah.
We could imagine music.
Could, but
It's
then
not as
it's... Yeah, it's not...
I've put up the track for you guys to just play at your own discretion.
Yeah, I've got it going.
Sweet.
I just
I've
need
got it
to-
playing as well.
No, I just need to hope that chat lets me know if it's loud enough or not. Nonetheless.
I imagine someone will let me know, because I've got a couple... I know that Hayden and Megan are both. I think at least Hayden's watching your stream.
I would hope.
But anyhow, yeah, so regardless of if the religion itself is fine, because Stillibor is definitely a goddess.
Right, but her origins might be a little bit amiss.
Yeah, her means of actually getting to that point are a bit off. Because
Okay,
again, most of the gods kind of present as like, hey, we were born into godhood. But if it was stolen, that's not exactly quite so good.
Right, I think I'm getting it now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just taking me a minute.
Yeah, you're good.
I mean, even if we present all this nonsense to him, who's to say he isn't just gonna deny it outright?
Yeah,
That's what I fear.
he is a little bit stubborn.
Even if he denies it, he will remember this and grow suspicious and who knows. Might act.
I mean, here's
Retaliation.
the question: do we even have to tell them?
I mean, we could just throw the book at him and be like, oh yeah, hey man, read this. But then again, he might think it's all, no, it's fabricated, it's all bullshit.
Exactly.
Yeah? And
You don't have to, although we should keep this a note.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to give him the book anyway. He'd probably try to burn it or something.
Yeah, sacrilege.
Exactly.
Or I don't know. I don't know if he's a book burning kind of guy. Maybe just eat it. I don't know.
I don't know, have you ever tried eating a book? Is it really that tasty?
I think we're getting off topic, you two.
In the distance, you guys begin to see the Gilded Tower coming into view. Liam, by the way.
Yeah.
With your Rapier of Fate at your side, for a brief moment, you're able to looking at this tower, your vision flickers as you see between a lot of possible realities, but essentially the two that have sort of meshed. Seeing for a moment the glorious Gilded Tower with golden wyverns flying around, and then seeing now this sort of dead tower glowing slightly in the sunlight, but otherwise just dead.
Starting to see weird things now.
Just now? Or?
Yeah, just now.
Huh.
I kind of saw like a double vision of this tower being all sorts of way better looking than it is right now. Gold wyverns flying around and such.
Hmm.
And as opposed to right now, it's just kind of there. Shiny, but otherwise nothing going on.
So this place must have also been
Affected by all the time nonsense doodadery or whatever.
probably, but we would need to ask Rune to be sure. He's will certainly be the only one who would have known what it looked like before. We don't know how long it's been since he's in its original state.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. That's just. Yeah, I don't know. I was just seeing some things. I don't know what's up with it. I don't know how I'm seeing these.
Rune.
Yes?
there any
One
gas vents?
one aspect of this palace is untouched by time. As you step away from the quarters and the dragoness leaves you be. You see a door that has not been opened in however long that spell that held them here lasted. And that is to the Grand Archive. Essentially, the archive of Astilabor and other godly texts.
Me want.
The stibble.
I'm gonna go inside. I'm gonna open this.
Within floor to ceiling, or not quite floor to ceiling, but these tall, there's, of course, like the bookcase is full of scrolls and full of ancient texts, but also there are vast, like there's plinth after plinth with different original religious texts, like pages so old that if you picked them up, they would turn to dust. Each one written in different languages from different times, some of them older than Astilabor themselves. Rune, in this moment, sort of stepping in, you may have just hit a gold mine of information relating quite literally to exactly what you guys may very well need.
Convenient!
It's godly texts, they're confiscated and kept.
Coincidence? I think not.
This tower has been here since the primordial the primordial was born at the beginning of this world. To say that this text could have been stored here since then is not out of the question.
Shadow Spy is old.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
It is.
very old.
It's the oldest lands in this world.
This place is
Dragons
old.
were the
Man,
first.
we're not.
First beings.
Man, we're not just like a part of the creation myth. We are the creation myth.
Yeah.
Grabby question mark?
What?
Grabby question mark?
Don't. Just watch it disintegrate into nothing.
Yeah, this is information that I don't know how I would. I definitely can't mimic this stuff.
You actually see, Rune, all of the old texts, the ones that predate Astilabor's religion. When you go to look at them, you watch your vision waver, and text appears within your vision, just saying, profaned texts. Reading is forbidden.
That sign can't stop me because I can't read.
Essentially, there's magic put in place. Astilabor's own priests weren't allowed to read this stuff.
Well, I'm not a priest now, am I?
No, but the magic affects all who try to read it.
Prove it.
I'm kind of beyond this, so I'm going to ignore that.
Got it. Roll me a... We're gonna have to do Arcana, because you're going directly against, well, like, the religious magic in this moment.
Would it be religion, maybe?
Well, I'm saying you're not, because you're going against religion in this moment.
Well, I'm
You know,
going
sure. I'll give you that. I'll give it to you.
Use the religion to destroy the religion.
Roll me a Constitution save. Or actually, sorry, Wisdom save.
Wisdom save.
Do the whiz-biz save.
That is a 23, sir.
19 would have been fine. 23 is pretty good. You try and peer through the magic at first, and it just goes darker and darker, and you can actually almost hear some of the original priestesses. The original priestesses of Astilabor, by the way, were blinded after reading the ancient texts.
Oh,
Like,
I see.
yeah, it was done to them. though. Not by the texts, but it was like by essentially the priests. Reading profane text was not supposed to be something people came back from. For a brief moment, you could almost hear them pleading for you to stop, and you just sort of push through that. You're just sort of like, shut up, profane spirits. Kind of religiously backhand some spirits real quick.
Cease.
But you feel it sort of warble in your own mind, and almost.
I just imagine Rune is like in his mindscape, and he's basically just combating these spirits that are like trying to hold him back.
Yeah, essentially.
As he's just like going like full John Wick on these things, like.
You
Be gone!
for a moment.
I do not trust your words, for you have led us all astray. I am the champion of our Lord, and I have the right to know!
For a moment, you feel as if you're going to faint. But pushing through, you watch as the magical barrier breaks. Just a tiny arcane lock and chain snapping and breaking away as these texts from essentially the first religions, and this from what these days is called the creation cult, but essentially from the very first worshippers of the primordials, are these texts. I actually need to check something. So I want to make sure that you're able to actually read this. Oh yeah, you're good.
Spicy.
That's a spicy knowledge.
Yeah, Rune, reading through Abyssal, you see written about the birth of the first gods, as is said here. And the first mortals created to serve those gods for eternity. Their point was to build the world, to eventually grow and care for these gods into the next generations. Before mortality was as it is now, back whenever essentially a soul was to die and then immediately reborn a new being. From a time long before what you now know as the modern world. But these texts, past that, what is essentially the beginning of a Bible, these texts are notes, or almost like a journal. Retrieved, based on the plaque that is beneath it, these were retrieved from the old homelands of Astilabor themselves, before they became a god.
I see.
Denoted here, at least noted here, is simply just like hymns and whatnot, relating to their gods. Although every hymn here you recognize from your own Bible. Almost as if even back then, when they had sort of started worshipping the primordials, before other religions became a thing, as if she was already writing her own religion.
So is this written by Astilabor?
It certainly seems that way. These are immaculately preserved by magics that
So
would
I
break
literally-
before you touch this.
So I literally have like stumbled upon my religion's equivalent of like the Holy Grail.
Kind of, yeah. This is also sort of like a religious Rosetta Stone of just like, this is where it started.
I imagine it'd be like if we found like a Jesus's diary or something.
Yeah. Looking through it though, looking at this, like, this is in the other Bible. She was already writing her own religion, though. Like, again, these are hymns. These are the beginnings of her first myths. It's almost as if she never believed, like, any of the religious practices she was doing with the primordials, even before she had even become anything close to a goddess, as if she was always planning to become more. It's a bit strange, to say the least. But along with this, there are more that almost, like, this is not the only bit here of these ancient texts. This is just some of the pages that were found in these places. There's scrolls of magics. There are some abyssal scrolls that are, like, regarding demons and whatnot, some of the first demons. One scroll is of an ancient demon, one of the first, called the Proprietor. A very, like, dark and, like, almost a disgusting text in itself, just based on what it denotes, of talking like, the first souls will rot here, never to see the light of day.
I'll be right back.
Yep.
But this here rune looks like it was pulled from a Bible. A Bible, a demonic Bible, essentially. And if this was found in the old home of a Stillabor, that can't exactly bode well. It does seem like the old priests thought something similar, because again, they forbade themselves from reading these texts.
I press onward.
Got it. There are some texts regarding the first changelings. You actually realize, like, this is kind of a direct realization that, like, oh, a Stillabor was one of the first changelings. Regarded here in this initial text as a false dragoness. You actually see some different texts kind of chastising her for even trying to join the primordial religion. She is seen immediately as an unholy creature. You see pretty soon after that, she began to falsely take the form of a golden dragoness. There aren't many more personal accounts, but more of these sort of dark artifacts of her past. Some regarding demons and devils, some regarding the first abyssal creatures, even some old texts of the beginning of, like, experimentation with the abyss. And then finally getting into some research texts of how to harm primordials, or at least the beginnings of, maybe even, at least from what you can read through here, maybe her figuring out how to harm.
Rune at this point, he's trying to discern a reason why. Why did she want? Why did she want to stop the primordials?
As far as you can see from this point, or at least from this point of view, all you can really gather as being a potential reason is power. Something so powerful and something controlling everything, and she wanted to slice the pie. At least that's what you're able to gain right now from your current perspective. However, if again, like, being some sort of first changeling, it wouldn't be out there to assume that she could have at least had some sort of abyssal origins. It could even be to further some other goal from beyond. Stillabor is a goddess of wealth, having a further motive, or having more that you're working toward, having goals beyond what is immediately available. is kind of her thing. You actually do. It doesn't directly tell you why. It's not like her saying this is why. But you do, kind of looking through these other journal entries that have been saved, one of the older ones, that's simply, they all think that they're better than me. Try and try and try as I might, they all think it. I swear, I will prove them wrong. If it is the last thing I do. Essentially avowing to herself to be better than them. To be better than those that would talk down on her. But in this moment, almost, again, not quite sinister, but just a vibe of, is it too far to do it all just to get back at people? That may not be her reasoning, but still, that's kind of how it feels from that writing.
And has he basically read the entirety of it at this point?
At least the entirety of her own writings, yes. However, still, go ahead.
Continue before I say anything.
I was just going to say, however, the only person who could answer any more of the questions regarding her own writings would be her. Or perhaps the Primordial himself.
Rune is gonna like just mull this over for a minute, as he's going to look up, and he's going to say,
"My lord, one thing that life has taught me to this point is that all beings are capable of change. Even if these horrible things are true. I believe now that your intentions are good. I believe you mean well. I have felt your light, your touch, your kindness, time and time again. These are not lies, but all I wish to know is, have you changed?"
You feel a dim glow of Stillborn reaching out toward you, flickering, as you were at least correct about the power of gods right now. As you can feel her sort of trying to reach out, you can actually see in the light almost a shade of a hand flickering, almost like a movie skipping. One moment she's reaching out a few feet away, the next she's like right next to your cheek. But the light quickly fades. At least for now, doesn't seem she can answer. She is trying though. And maybe that says enough for the moment.
If you were truly malicious, you would have thrown me aside. I have faith. I trust your intentions, even if in the past, initially, maybe they weren't for the best, but were mine? Were any of ours? How could I judge someone so old and say that you are incapable of change? Know that I trust you.
Rune. As you say that, as you speak those words, And to the others, as you begin to get closer, beginning to get ready to dock in, Rune, you feel a foul darkness. Roll me a religion check.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Shit.
Magic far older than your own, and maybe older than a Stillabor's. A deep, rumbled voice. Then you are a fool. And you die of... Rune, the air around you almost feels electric. Just opening your mouth, you watch a spark draw between your lips. You feel as if you need to fucking run.
Rune, as soon as that happens, he actually manifests his echo, like 15 feet away towards the door, and teleports. And then bails.
Got it. Rune, I need you to roll me 3 dexterity throws. Not saves, just dexterity.
Just dexterity? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
With the knowledge that all of these, or they don't, with the knowledge that you're gonna want all of these to be above a 15.
That's Damien.
I'm just telling you. Don't worry. Just roll them. Just roll them.
That's statistically unlikely.
It is.
Go for an 11.
Okay, with an average.
All right, 0 out of 3.
So no, it's cool. Wait, Liam.
Yeah.
What are your divination rolls?
Hold on. Let me go look into the past because I appear to have forgotten. So let me confirm what I have.
Wait, Rune, don't you have wait, before anything, do you have any adversity tokens?
I do, yeah.
You might want to use.
I have 2 of them.
You may want to use them both.
Okay.
Roll 2d8.
It would appear as though the last time I rolled some divination dice, I got a 14, an 8, and a 1.
I'll add that 2 to the 13, and I'll add that 7 to the 10.
Got it. Rune. Stumbling and clawing and just fucking running. Everyone else, you watch as the clouds above the tower accumulate very quickly.
Uh-oh.
Every bit of cloud cover around this nation drawing together as one massive supercell.
Hey, this isn't normal, right?
I should mention Rune is dashing at this point.
Mm-hmm. Crackles of lightning crashing down nearby. The base of the tower beginning to crumble as it is slashed by lightning, just bit by bit chipped away. Rune.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Austin?
Yeah?
What level is his fly?
It is 3rd level.
How many of those do you have?
I have.
Remember, Jarf, I do have the ability to fly.
Oh,
So,
you do?
For
Oh,
a
thank
minute.
God.
For a minute. So I can at least, like...
I can give you
Break
that
your
for-
fall.
I can give you that.
Yeah,
for
that
an
was the
hour.
plan, was, like... Rune's initial plan was, I'm just gonna jump off, I'm just gonna bail off the tower and just swings.
Yeah, Rune. With your full-on sprinting and trying and just bolting for it, with your 15 and 17 respectively, you make it out of the temple as the first crack of lightning hits it. Looking back for even a moment, you can just see the tarnished dragon looking out to you through the from the tower's balcony, out to the ship that's approaching. A visible sigh and mouthed words that you can't quite make out. Simply saying, You're smart enough to understand, especially with your religion, just saying, I'll pray for you. As she is slain by the crash of lightning through her tower.
Rune's eyes are just gonna go bug-eyed, but then immediately he's just gonna go into focus mode as Rune is gonna go into beast mode.
It's like, oh my god, get the fuck out,
I just
die.
imagine it just as everything is crumbling, Rune is just like rolling, like using like the terrain to his advantage to like maneuver and keep his momentum going.
You're good. You watch as the graves that you once tended to and the place that you once began your training and ended it crumbles bit by bit. And as you reach the very edge where you once climbed up here for the very first time, with a single kick, you leap off. Behind you, a single crash of lightning begins to build in the middle of this supercell, this ever-swirling storm. And then with a single crash, you all watch as light pours through the earth, boring further and further down. Deep in the sunless lands, a blast of light is briefly seen. It is just this dark arcing bit of lightning, and then the tower shatters into billions of pieces.
Fuck.
Nearby towers begin to crack the entire way up. Nearby one of the towers, the Tower of Storms, actually. A tower that one of the blue dragons, the Sapphire Dragon, was ruling over. You watch as their tower is destroyed as well. And nearby that, the Tower of Time shattered. 3 of the first gods' towers destroyed in an instant. As lightning crashes down and begins to build and build, continuing to pummel the spot where Stillabor's tower once stood. As Rune, you begin to fall, the rubble falling among you. And the Primordial continues their assault on a land that will be forever torn by this one action.
I might add that Rune at this point, like after leaping, he's gonna like go into like a full like dive, like he's trying to pick up, like he's like just like fought, like turning himself into a fucking missile as he's going down.
I was gonna say we could try and go and catch you.
And the moment like he reaches like terminal velocity, he's going to like wings out, and then he's gonna start going up, like, and use that momentum to just fucking propel his ass away.
Fair enough. You actually feel some of the lightning arcing from your armor. The Primordial has their eyes on you. At the very least, they seem to have noticed your escape. You narrowly dive as the last crack of lightning shatters through right where you were just a second before.
I say we go and get him.
Dust kicking up from the ground in a fucking mushroom cloud. You guys are in an airship near the worst storm in history. You guys actually need to roll some saves. And your ship needs to roll us a save as well.
Uh-oh.
Oh, shit. This is anything like...
This is Snitz's moment.
Yeah,
the one
Snitz
moment he'll definitely survive, at least.
Yeah, Snitz is gonna become a fucking meteorite and hit the ground.
Okay.
Both, so all of you roll me dexterity saves.
Dexy, got it.
Oh man, Flash of Genius, first Flash of Genius. Oh man, hold up, don't say anything, I need to look up what Flash of Genius does.
Right.
Flash of Genius, you can add, make ability or saving throw. Okay, I use a flash of genius on Fitz.
Okay. What does that add?
4. It's my modifier. And
So it'll give him an 11?
Yes.
Fitz.
Mm-hmm.
You are thrown from the ship.
Oh fuck.
What?
As the ship begins to buck and twirl as winds that are and torrential rainfall begin to greet you all, and dust and rocks and just shrapnel from a destroyed tower reach you in a shockwave more powerful than a nuclear blast just about. You guys find yourselves holding on for dear life on a ship that is barrel rolling and careening through the air.
And we're still not sure that the fucking Primordial isn't the bad guy? He just nuked my home!
He nuked someone who killed him.
Fuck him! He's an ass! I can tell he's an asshole!
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it is kind of just kill the Primordial or bust, I feel.
Yeah, he's, like, at this... If anything, now Rune is certain, like, yeah, he was probably a tyrant, like, she was probably justified in wanting to take power from this motherfucker.
So, Fitz is currently barreling.
Yeah, as
Free falling.
Yeah, as the ship begins to careen and roll, yes, Fitz, you are flung from the deck.
So, I would like to cast Fly on myself. It's like, alright, I'm going after him!
I would, this might be a good time to twin spell, I would
say, are you are you sure?
Ooh, that is true. I would say, like, he's probably within, is Fly a range, you can cast from range, or does it have to be touch?
It has to be touch.
I'm gonna say this.
Okay,
do you think that you are stronger, Liam, than your ship in this moment? Because the ship is fucking struggling. Speaking of the ship's strength.
Hold on. Wait.
The ship got a 20.
Oh, damn.
Oh, good on him.
Yeah. Good job,
as they try to wrench themselves through this wind.
We might have to hire this elven pilot, just saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going for.
As Helena just whips the wheel, trying to get it back into a steady churn.
I do have another option of something I could do. Okay. What do I have?
Okay, so as I'm still kind of like falling into God knows what, can I like panic? So the transformation to Snids, like what necessarily brings that on? Is it just like the potion or?
Oh, I mean, I can take care of that for you.
I mean, I was about to say, because like if I'm just like panic, it's like a Hulk situation, I suppose. Like if I'm under enough stress and pressure and just panic,
Will I have enough time to convert spells to sorcery points and then back into spells?
I could attempt to use what last of my low-level spell slots, all 3 of them, to try and make a transformation potion with what little flask I have left.
Actually, now that I think about it.
Does Fitz have any dice that he can add to his save at all? Like, does he have any? Do you have a D8 that you've saved up?
Fuck it, it's only 2 spells. I'm making those potions. Pray to fuck
if you do, now would probably be a good time to use those. Just saying.
Yeah.
That's one.
Well, okay, hold on. I would need. Okay, what do I do this? Okay. There's a bonus action.
Okay, never mind. I got something. I can give him Fly.
Oh, okay, that works. Just kind of toss it at him and chatters.
I pull up one flask, one of them luckily turns into a blue liquid with 8 little flowing bits, and I throw that as hard as I can at Fitz. roll athletics?
Roll me. We're gonna play this. We're gonna play this like a ranged attack. So, dexterity. Not save, just a dexterity throw.
Can I offer help with this action?
I imagine that in this moment, you being there with them gives them. Yeah, that'll be help action.
This motherfucker just pulled a Mount St. Helens on my home.
I just give a few like no, that is not the way.
Use one of your divination things if it can help.
Yeah, I can give you a 14.
14 hits.
And I yell at the top of my lung, Fitz, fly!
I just kind of see Abigail's like throw go wide, and I kind of like rub the die in my hand. Ah!
Well, I would say more so
just like,
I wouldn't say it was the throw. I would say more so it was just the fucking wind.
A 14 beats Fitz's armor class, and you hit.
I
yell at the top of my lungs to Fitz, Fitz, fly!
Fly, you fools!
Fitz, you are hit in the square in the back with this potion. The bottle shatters, and in a puff of smoke, what do you become?
No, he gets the ability to fly for 10 minutes.
Oh, fly?
Yeah, it's the fly potion.
Sadness.
I was gonna say, I don't know if Snitz can survive the whirlwind of weather that's going on.
I was hoping for the last time you fell
Fitz
off.
channels Snitz for a brief moment.
Yeah, yeah. Hold on. So would I would imagine like wings sprout from my back or something, or am I just levitating?
Yeah, I think it's more of like a levitation thing.
Trash.
It is, but for a brief moment, Fitz, looking out, it looks a lot like that elemental plane you were stuck in for just a moment.
Oh no, PTSD!
I know, this is the second time today, god damn it. Fuck, I need a beer after this.
He says out loud in the middle of a typhoon.
It's like, fuck, I need a beer after this!
No, it'd be more a beer after.
Yeah, no, that's like the moment I get like. No, it's like at that moment that's when I get flung from the ship.
It's like, I'm gonna need a beer, and then like a beer just kind of like flies into his hand. Like, oh.
Oh god. But you know, as I struggle against the storm to fly back up to the ship.
Fitz, weathering the storm, you like looking to the ship. You narrowly avoid getting crushed by it as it's actually careening through the sky. It is on a collision course to the ground.
Pull an interstellar, sir.
This ship is going down. They are getting to a point where they can probably land it, but this ship is not going to fly again.
Okay.
We need one of those.
Can we help Helena in any way?
You guys are holding on for dear life. The best you can do is try and survive the crash.
I was about to say, because I'm flying, I'm probably not strong enough to grab anybody.
At this point, just worry about getting yourself down.
Yeah, Rune didn't know that you guys were here. He probably is just...
Okay, yeah.
Rune kind of like dodging rubble the whole way to the ground.
Cool, alright, yeah.
Looking out, by the way, Rune. Essentially what you see, like, as you're falling with them, the corpses of the three gods' dragons. The three old gods, storms, wealth, and winds.
Like...
void, storms, and wealth. All three falling dead from the collapsed towers. You in the center of all the rubble falling with them. Seems the Primordial got rid of the ones who betrayed him, though at what cost is the real question. This was his homeland too. He built them.
Ah, fuck him. He's an asshole.
He's like fucking Uranus. Like, yeah, Uranus got got usurped by Kronos by getting like severed by the private parts. However, he was a fucking douche. So
Kronos ate his child.
yeah, I know. I'm just using that as an example.
I know. I'm just pulling out. I remember Kronos.
I'm just proposing perspectives. I'm only the DM here.
Oh god. Holy fucking Christ! I can't believe I got the potion I wanted the last time Fitz fell off.
I'm trying to think of something.
As the rubble begins to collapse into just this massive pile, bit by bit, the three corpses raining down onto it, Rune narrowly managing not to with his flight.
Rune is just moving so fast at this point. I imagine that it's like his like spectral wings that like come out of him, like more so look like a trail, almost like a jet, like on his back.
Yeah. You
like
again
he's like two jet engines on his back almost.
Zipping out of where this like massive, essentially a mountain of rubble is quickly forming. You see what was the three towers is now a single, quickly building mountain of just detritus. It was some of the pillars of draconic might, and now is just a pile of scraps. Obsidian, gold, limestone, all of it just piled into a trash heap.
Rune just kind of winces at the sight.
There's no more holy glow to it in this moment. There is a religiously like a holy glow, but not of one that you recognize. It's an old god, and you know who it was. Though noticeably, Rune, as this massive swirling storm above this slowly falling rubble continues to swirl, you can see for a moment some of the clouds, almost serpentine movement, flow up into it, and then with a crack of thunder, it all dissipates. You imagine that the primordial has for the moment left the homelands.
When Rune actually like goes into land, like further away, like coming to a stop, he just is on his, just looking at everything, and he just like falls to his knees, and then just both like fist just slams the ground, and then just yells out, which I'm not gonna do right now. But he just it's just the most furious he's ever been. He basically like Rune basically yells up to, and then after that Rune just yells up to the sky. I will slay you. This I swear. You're no god. You're a monster.
Fitz, meanwhile, continuing to just fly.
Yeah, I have a thing. I have an idea.
He has 10 minutes,
So, the ship's collision course, what's that looking like?
They are very. They're managing to line. They'll probably land safely enough, but
okay, because
it's looking rough.
Okay, because I was...
It's still looking fucking rough because it's a crash landing.
Right. Because my idea was if they were, like, losing control, I would try to go into a rage and, like, like biff the ship, like, out of the way of anything, like, too dangerous.
That does not, like, unless you're going to get them out of the way of the ground.
Weight.
Unless you're going to get them out of the way of the ground, there's not much you can do.
Yeah, okay.
I
So
have
you're
an
better off
idea.
saving yourself. Oh no.
If you turn off the gravity, then you're good.
Yeah, no, I don't have that power set, sorry.
Fitz is using gravity hacks.
I have an idea.
Liam. Also, Liam, what did you use to turn yourself into a giant monkey?
Polymorph.
What level of spell is that?
4th.
You have 4th?
Yeah, I have 4th level spells.
Fuck. I didn't know that. Okay, never mind. I was wondering, like, wait, how the if he has 2 3rd levels, so I thought...
I mean, I can switch, I mean, presuming we have the time, I can switch some sorcery points around.
True.
But,
anyway.
As the ship careens toward the ground, you guys made good enough dex saves that you won't fully fucking die from this.
Oh, hello, Megan.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hey.
The ship slowly not slowly at all, about 60 miles per hour, just falling toward the ground. Helena rips back on the wheel just as fast as she can, as hard as she can. And you guys begin to slide down the rubble, actually, smashing into it at full speed. Abigail and Liam, you both take 15 points of damage immediately.
Oh, 15, that's a big... Ooh, 15.
That's the start. That is what happens just the moment you hit.
Oh, I have temp HP.
You do.
Hold on, if we're gonna be taking damage from this crash, then I might want to do something about that. Cause I can switch some sorcery points around and get us all flying.
No, we'll be fine.
I mean, I'm more worried about our to be acquired pilot.
Oh, they don't look like they took much of any damage. At the very least, your pilot, they know what they're doing. Actually, one second. I'm going to stream for our intrepid guests.
The bean.
But you're welcome.
Much
But yeah, y'all's a group. Y'all take damage. You two take damage. But Helena, at the very least, has airbags. Yeah, the moment it hits, she takes 3 damage. Just from the airbag deploying. Is just struggling to keep this off of a collision course with like some of the bigger stones. And as she keeps it in just a straight enough line, you guys crash through what's left of the Blue Palace from the top of the Tower of Storms. And with a skidding halt as the ship splinters and shreds into pieces, you guys, holding onto what's left of the deck, manage to survive, skidding to a halt just 10 or 15 feet from Rune.
Squawk. Oh, but for the whole time, I've just been basically making scared crow noises.
Yeah, fair.
I've just been ambiently switching between between Liam and Lucky.
Yeah,
Lucky
is
just like,
still
I don't want to
wounded.
deal with this. I don't want to
Lucky's
deal
still
with this.
gently wounded, just like, oh shit, fuck.
It's like,
Oh dang, that is
Just
not
swapping between-
groovy.
I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to do it.
I just want to talk to my baby boy.
As the ship finishes skidding into a halt, you guys watch as the dirigible that like helps it fly, the end punctures, and you guys watch like a balloon just goes off into the distance.
Okay, I say we collect ourselves and get the fuck out of here.
Fuck.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry. With a bonk. There is at least one, like, Helena has lost their ship. They do not look happy about this. Looking to the towers, the Tower of Storms is destroyed, they look even less happy about that.
Don't worry about it, you'll make plenty on Cornwall's payroll.
That was my hope.
You wanna help us avenge that?
I need to go and do some digging for someone. As she looks out to what's left of the Tower of Storms and the Tower of Wealth and the Tower of the Void, I need to find a few people. And then I'll find my way back to something. Probably the most somber and quiet she's sounded yet, of just looking out among the rubble and the settling dust as she stands, dusts herself off, and begins to walk off into the cloud of dust.
Liam understands this.
What?
Okay. I thought my internet was going.
I was
out.
saying, laughing.
Oh.
Do you need to go? You said you only had like 3 hours.
I have like, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go now.
All right.
That's cool. I was actually gonna say we can call it here. At the end of Rune's darkest hour, and at the end of y'all's greatest threat yet.
Yeah.
Though I will
Fuck,
say
and we barely even dealt with the other ones.
I will say one thing, Rune, before the end of this. Roll me a religion check. Because you feel
Okay.
something other than the Primordial's magic. Rune. You feel a dark presence that you don't recognize. Almost piggybacking on the magic of the Primordial. You're not entirely sure what that is, but feeling it, it feels like it's, again, like it's piggybacking off of this magic. It feels like it is kind of entwining itself with it. You're not quite sure what that means just yet. And that is where we will leave tonight.
Whatever it is, it's not good. Yeah, now are y'all with me on the whole, like, let's kill it
Well,
thing?
What I'm saying is, Rune, the Primordial's magic has something else attaching itself to it.
Yes, and I'll kill it too.
Fair enough. But that's where we will end the session. And I hope you guys had fun.
Yeah.
I did. If you excuse me, I'm gonna go upstairs and have some beef stew before I have to do boring stuff.
Boo,
Well,
boring stuff.
I wish you luck with boring stuff, and I hope the stew is
Hi, Pariah.
good. Good night,
Welcome in.
laughing.
Hi.
Good
Yeah.
night.
We're just about to end off, but I think
Also,
we got a little bit.
before I leave,
Yeah, sorry.
Austin,
Yes.
go to memes.
Sorry,
Spiders,
just about to
man.
end.
Oh, yeah,
But I think
I
we
saw
still have some
that.
like closing arguments, not closing argument, closing words and shit.
We need to get the fuck out of this immediate area.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, this is
The
this is getting a
Primordial, at
little
the very
bit.
least, left.
No, I mean like we need to get because we were kind of right over there. All of us were kind of right over
Hell
that
yeah, bro!
general
You got the
area
artist
when
out because
towers
you helped
came
make my
crashing
emotes
down.
and
I
the new
will say
channel
one
icon thing.
that you guys are probably
Again, thank
not
you so
going
much
to
for
like.
that. I fucking love it. I love all
And
your work.
Also, I will
you
say,
did
because
such a
Rune
good
is
job.
distracted
Thank
anyway,
you.
so I can actually continue for a little bit. To say this much.
Done such a good job, Pariah. Thank you very
Rune
much.
is continuing to mourn the loss of his home, essentially. You all hear the shifting
I'll
sound
definitely
of
be
heavy
commissioning you a bit
footfalls
more, if that's all right.
and feel a strong arcana
Because I've got some
approaching.
more ideas. So I'll keep you posted on those.
All around you, you hear these footfalls making their approach. And the three of you
Oh, shit,
hear from all around and also right next to yourselves, just sort of like it's emanating from you almost. That's them. They're the ones who collapsed the towers. The betrayers.
Excuse me?
Seize them! As your
What the
vision
fuck?
all goes dark.
Oh, that's what it was. Well,
And now we will end our session for the night.
okay, that's some shit. That's some horse shit. That's not good. I don't want to be seized. Hold on. Hold on, I'm still flying. I fly away from the situation. Good luck, guys. I'm kidding, no.
Fitz, actually, Fitz, roll me
Oh,
a
fuck.
dexterity throw.
A dexterity.
With advantage, because you're flying.
Right.
They're just trying to lasso your ass.
Oh my god, they can fucking try. What am I doing again?
Dex save with advantage.
Advantage and dex. What did I do?
Fitz.
Hi.
You're right. You are flying. You're not actually among the settling dust. You are above you're above it. And because they don't have line of sight with you, the spell they are trying to use does not work. Fitz, you watch adamantine constructs make the approach on your friends, and you watch as a tall, gold-looking dragon breathes out a mist almost, which you realize is just a visible spell of some sort.
Right.
And you watch as your friends lose consciousness. Rune first among them, as he goes for his spear and quickly just faints, falling to the ground.
Oh god. Damn it.
But as I've already said, I do hope that this was a fun session. At the very least, enjoyable for all.
Yeah, I mean, with that ending, like, god damn it.
It seems like Fitz will need to make a rescue.
It seems it.
Oh, have we been arrested?
Yeah, the adamantine titans are what was the heavy footfalls.
Okay, so as I see them kind of lose consciousness and as I see them getting taken away, can I, just kind of prepping for next session, I suppose, try to find Cornwall's ship? Or the ship that Cornwall's on?
Cornwall's ship is still just in town. He's like, right now, it's just now kind of getting closer to like 9 p.m. He's midway through a muffin. He's wearing his pajamas.
I just, we'll just end this one here. Like, I start flying towards the ship.
Yeah, flying back to town. Gotcha.
It's like, hey, Cornwall, we need to rescue our friends.
Oh, sure. What are we gonna do? There's a blueberry.
I suppose I could do that, though. I am already in my pajamas.
Exactly. I suppose I could do that, but I already am in my pajamas. Oh my.
Well, you know, has anybody done a daring rescue in their pajamas? You can be the first one to do that.
Ah, yes. Today is the day.
Aye.
Today's the day.
Alright.
You know, for some reason, I knew, I had the feeling that this arc would eventually involve us getting arrested.
To be fair, the only reason it did is because the ship crashed, and to be fair, I I've been doing a few private rolls. She kept getting 19s. So if the ship had been further away, y'all would have been fine.
Ah. Wow.
It was a DC 18 to get there on time. So I mean, I'm kind of blaming my dice, but still.
I just hope we get to find Helena later.
She'll probably find you.
Yeah, I'll be real. I feel she'd be a good partner to fucking Cornwall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I enjoy badass pilot elf lady.
She's slowly proving her worth.
She's a bit of a scaredy cat, but with good reason, given what y'all just witnessed.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. With that massive shit show,
she wanted to flee the country for a good reason, and her boss is just like, "You're a coward." She's like, "I'm not. I'm really not."
Really not.
You're a fucking idiot.
She is simply sensible.
Yeah, she's going to like Cornwall. By that, it's like it's gonna be one of those like just fucking idiots.
Vanessa, I'm going to remove your skull.
Well, I mean...
Go.
Like, I don't know, part of me kind of feel like this is going to be like one of those situations like they hate each other, but they also love each other kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I should.
Enemies to friends to lovers.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I'm glad you guys had some fun with this one. I wanted it to, at the very least, kind of get into some stuff. And as much as Rune very much hates the Primordial, there is a bigger picture that he is very much missing.
Yeah, I don't, the Primordial is a Primordial. I don't think good and evil is exactly a concept yet. Or at least not, was it intended.
The concepts of good and evil have no meaning to a force of nature.
Exactly.
But for a Stillabore can be held to the same concepts as people, and she very much morally is ambiguous at best, which is kind of what I'm trying to point out to him.
Yeah, no, Stillborn is sketchy as fuck.
It's like
Very.
I'm just saying, you're giving her all of the information on everything going on. Maybe that's not a great idea. But he'll learn eventually, or get struck by lightning.
At least my idol doesn't even pretend she cares.
True enough.
Yeah.
I don't have one. I just want to help people. I hold myself to a moral code, which my other me broke.
Loasica's fucking current leader just kind of looking in your direction. Moral code. Never had that.
Alright.
I remember you didn't have a moral code. I remember watching you shoot
You
your...
experimented on those half-orc children.
Yeah, you remember.
It's just like a full stick. You're
Alright, I am going to take my leave now, ladies and gentlemen.
Alrighty, good night, Ian.
Yep. I will see you all next week for the daring rescue.
Absolutely.
Alright. I'll see you all later.
Night, man.
Night. Oh my god. Alrighty. Well, we're gonna end it off here. First, let me see who's on for a raid. I want to thank you all for tuning on in, even if you just came in for the end of it. Next week, we are going to apparently do a rescue with them. So sleep time just a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna play a little bit of Binding of Isaac, honestly, and then pass out. But yeah, thank you again for tuning on in. Again, Pariah, thank you for the wonderful artwork. I haven't gotten the chance to say properly, but again, thank you so damn much. Again, I've got some ideas still that I want to run by you at some point or another, once I get them more fleshed out. And then if you're willing and available, of course. I don't want to overwork you. I know you've got other stuff going on. I know work's hell sometimes. But awesome sauce. Thank you all again for tuning on in. This was This is a great one. This is also the shorter one because the last couple of sessions the last 2 sessions have been 5 fucking hours, and we're ending out at 3 hours. So that's pretty fucking good. I am going to try to get these up to a new YouTube channel, for like stream VODs, and try to get those up and running. And yeah, so I will be live again, I think Friday. I don't know, Friday or Saturday. I don't know, because I still need to prep for next week's Captain's Week. Which also, if you haven't seen the promo for that, check my Twitter. Go check that. Check my EenTheBean Twitter. Go follow it. Go follow it. Check that. I do promo commercial type stuff for my streams, which I'm enjoying doing. And I think it's gonna be it. I'm done stalling. Y'all take care. Y'all have a good one. I will see you all for the next one, whether it be Friday or Saturday. And yeah, everybody take care. Y'all are awesome.